I'm on my 11th month of HRT, which means one more month is a full year. So feel free to ask me questions or just statements in general about HRT or my journey in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer them next video. I feel like the last few HRT updates have been a little bit negative. My relationship of almost 3 years ended, and I've just reached the point where someone tried to follow me on my walk home. Yay! I did have a mental breakdown. Let's start with a positive for this month. Guys, my butt looks fantastic. My chest isn't really where I want my chest to be at yet, although as someone who's just trying to be androgynous, I think that might be for the best. But bro, like, my ass, oh, I was wearing like a specific skirt the other day, and then I turned around in the mirror, and truly I felt like a Pixar mom. I felt like someone with a barely disguised fetish had drawn me. It was amazing. Something interesting I've noticed is that when I'm standing still or when I'm not in motion, people are more likely to assume that I'm feminine or a woman, feminine leaning. For example, whenever I'm in the restroom and I'm just washing my hands, if a guy walks in, he will have that moment of doubt where he like takes a double step back to make sure that he's in the right restroom. But if I'm walking down a long hall towards a man, there's something in perhaps my demeanor or like the way that I walk where he'll give me like, from 5 feet away, he'll give me the, "What's up, bro? Hey, man. How you doing, dog?" I assume it must be something in my body language. And I don't really care to really fix this or do much about it. It's just something I've noticed. But if you are intent on transitioning one way or the other, the walk is going to be very important. Also, this is a bit of a weird observation to have in November, but I live in Florida. I think at this point, one of the few things that gives me major dysphoria is swimsuits. Because I'm okay with dressing masc, dressing femme, because I'm genderqueer, gender fluid, non-binary. So I can kind of slip in and out of whatever I want to do. But I feel like swimsuits are one of the few clothing aspects where it's like, okay, we're highlighting specifically feminine aspects of yourself or specifically masculine aspects of yourself, right? I can wear this and like some makeup and feel masculine where I want to and feel feminine where I want to. Even when I wear something like a skirt and like a cute crop top, sure, the clothing is feminine and the makeup I'm wearing is feminine, but that can even open up the doors for me to like be a bit more masculine. I feel powerful being masculine in a skirt, and I feel powerful being feminine in a skirt. But like if I'm wearing a bikini, all of a sudden I'm no longer confident in having masculine options available to me. In the same way that if I'm wearing just swim trunks, I no longer really feel confident having feminine aspects available to me. And so many bikini tops also just highlight too much of the shoulders. And if you're assigned male at birth, you're likely to have broader shoulders on you. I do. I'm a twink, but I've still got sort of the V thing, the Dorito chip thing going on. So whenever I wear a bikini top, I'm like, oh, this isn't bringing out the femininity I want it to. But then whenever I wear just swim trunks, I'm like, this is far too masculine. Once again, weird thing to think about in November, but it's sort of the reason I never really went swimming this year. I went like one time and I was uncomfortable the entire time. Actually, strike that. I did go a second time, but the second time was when I was really high and I hopped into my apartment complex's swimming pool after a hurricane. That was glorious, and I just kept all my clothes on. What a lovely day that was. I think that experience was honestly really euphoric just because I didn't have to think about my gender or my presentation. I truly felt so gender neutral. But I would say that this is the first month where I feel weaker. Like, I noticed around 5 months in that I was starting to lose muscle tone, but I don't think it affected my ability to carry things or to do push-ups or pull-ups. But now I find that if I'm ever like carrying a box at work, or if I'm doing just like regular body weight exercise, it's much more of a struggle for me than it was a year ago. This is one of the few things I was concerned about when I started HRT, because I've been very casually strong my entire life, especially in like relation to the fact that I'm 125 pounds. I like being deceptively strong, but it's becoming, I don't know, it's kind of becoming challenging. So I guess I need to work out, but I don't even know about that because I have been thinking about switching up my dosages again. I've been back on the romantic scene, and I've realized that my sex drive is way down, like very, very down. I can achieve an erection while doing things. I just can't keep it up consistently. So I have been prescribed sildenafil, which is like an off-brand Viagra by the same company that I get my HRT from. But I was thinking like maybe next appointment I have with my physician, I might just, ask them, hey, can like we introduce a little bit more testosterone just so I can actually be horny? Which I think I've read is something that some trans femmes do. They're on the E for a while and then they like ease back and introduce like just enough T so that their face still like is feminine, but the sex drive gets back up there. But yeah, I took a little bit of a break from the dating scene just to get my affairs in order. But now that I'm back out there, I don't want to delve into too much detail, mostly because I think I want to make an entire video for this, but this has been sort of my busiest month in terms of like being active. It's very interesting because I thought, especially in Florida, Tampa's a bit better, but I'm still living in a red state, and I thought that my androgyny would be a barrier for most women, especially like straight women, quote unquote straight women who are attracted to me. But honestly, like I've shown up to gatherings dressing like full femme, still speaking like this, just acting like myself, and I still have enough attention to make me happy. I've been made aware that I'm attractive to people, which is delightful. I kind of thought things would be up in the air there for a little bit. But it's funny because like now that I'm in a phase of my life where I'm trying to be perceived as attractive to other people, it also gets me in my head a little bit about how I am perceived in terms of my masculinity or femininity. Because traditional dating etiquette dictates that like masculine leaning people engage in these certain traits or activities or like manners of communication or take the lead in this way, right? Despite the fact that I'm trans femme, I still feel like I am expected to like play a masculine role when I am engaging romantically with other people, which is like fine with me personally most of the time because once again, non-binary and I'm a dom leaning switch. However, I can't help but feel like I am being viewed as a man when people view me as a romantic prospect, mostly because people don't want to have to think about their sexuality when they're making out with this cute person at the bar. Granted, I haven't had like full in-depth discussions about like gender and ideology and the dating scene with all of these people because that would be too intense. So I truly don't know what's going on in their heads. I can only really venture to guess. In addition, I'm sort of like newly single and like newly back into the social scene. And I'm autistic. And I'm transitioning. So there's like a lot that's going on here that I'm just not aware of, which is why I don't want to speak too much on this. I'll just say that, it's something I'm thinking about, and I'll come back to you guys with like more concrete ideas of what's going on here. Because honestly, maybe it's not even gender related, all of this like dating stuff I'm going through. It could just be like me as a person. Like, I'm rusty. Maybe once I like get more practiced, I won't even feel or notice that there is like a gender dynamic that may or may not be there. Truly, this is all made up. We do have to wonder, okay, it's all made up, but who subscribes to the illusion still? Do I want to be thinking about like, oh, what am I being perceived as when I've got my tongue in someone's mouth? Not especially. But I've got this channel and I have to think queer thoughts, so here we are. But yeah, a little bit of a short one this month. But first of all, thank you to the 450 plus people who subscribed as a result of the Dear Trans People video. I thought I wouldn't hit 2,000 subscribers until the end of the year, and then all of a sudden I hit it halfway through November. Insane. Once again, if you have any HRT questions for my full year, let me know. I'm probably just going to like watch each of my update videos and see if I agree with what I said back then or not, or I can expound more on what I talked about. But any ideas would be fantastic and great and sexy of you. All right. Have a good one. Bye. One more thing. I'm not going to turn my mic back on. Totally 100%, if I just been masturbating 3 times a week like my physician told me to, my dick would still work without external medication. But I didn't do that. Mostly because my sex drive was down and I just, never got around to it. So, They're being serious. They're being serious when they tell you to jack off 3 times a week. Because if you don't, oh boy, your dick's gonna stop working. I can't even pretend I didn't know. I totally knew, and I just let it happen.